of 2017 celebration. My name is Liliana Scales, and I'm an Assistant Director of Enrollment. I am honored to share this stage with our Vice President of Enrollment, Brian Williams, as well as our student speaker, Lauren Gunderman, and our alumni speaker, Brian Sinchak. Today is a day to celebrate the many achievements of you, our admitted students, and to congratulate you on all of your efforts and hard work up to this point. Before we begin and get any further, I want you to take a moment to acknowledge an important milestone that John Carroll University recently celebrated, our 125th anniversary. Since its founding as St. Ignatius College in 1886, John Carroll has grown into an institution widely recognized for excellence in learning, leadership, and service. I'm sure the Jesuit visionaries that created and shaped our university will be proud to see John Carroll today. And it would be great to have each and every one of you join the John Carroll family and build our solid foundation. To give you a sense of John Carroll's first 125 years, please turn your attention to the screen and try not to blink. 125 years of history are going to flash by your eyes in less than 3 minutes. See if you can spot some of the distinguished alumni like Don Shula, the winningest coach in NFL history, as well as special visitors to campus like Mother Teresa. Tim Russert, the beloved host of NBC's Meet the Press from John Carroll's class of 1972, narrates the opening sequence. Following the video, you will hear from our Vice President, Brian Williams.
We celebrate 125 years of Jesuit educational excellence. Thank you for making us the great institution we are today, and for your support in building an even stronger future.
My name's Brian Williams. I'm our Vice President for Enrollment here at John Carroll University, and I'm honored to welcome all of you here today. Our university president, who you just heard from very quickly, Father Robert Niehoff, is away from the university today, but on behalf of the president, all of our faculty, staff, students, and alumni, we extend the warmest welcome to you, and I'm pleased to get this day officially started, so let's go. I hope you're as excited about today as we all are in getting ready for you to be with us. From over 4,000 colleges across the United States alone, you've hopefully narrowed down your list of schools you're considering to a number smaller than that as you sit here on April 6th today. We're honored that we're still with you in the home stretch of your college selection process and hope today accomplishes for you what you need to consider making John Carroll your home for the next 4 years. I want to start off my remarks by underscoring why we call today our Class of 2017 celebration and not just calling it an admissions open house. First off, it is not just an admissions open house, because as you go through the day-to-day, you'll be able to interact with over 325 John Carroll faculty, staff, and current students who are here to help you and serve you and help you make this decision as you're here today. But more importantly than an open house, we call today a celebration very intentionally. It's a word we use a lot on this campus. Today we celebrate what you've accomplished to get to this point, to be admitted to John Carroll, to be choosing a college and furthering your education. In just a few weeks, our class of 2013, who sat where you did just a few years ago, 44 days from now, they will walk across the stage and become a John Carroll graduate and join our over 40,000 alumni as they go forth and set the world on fire with what they've learned here in University Heights. We're excited by their leaving, sad by their leaving, so this celebration of our class of 2017 joining us comes at a time as we celebrate one group leaving and welcome the potential of the next group that joins us. Let me introduce you to yourselves a little bit to get started. Nearly 25% of you have a family member that graduated from John Carroll or is currently attending John Carroll. You'll notice those ribbons on your name tags as a way to mark that around the room. So to the alumni who are in the room, welcome back to the university today. The people in the room today alone, you've come here from 15 different states. Some of you have bringing to us talents, and you have been born in different countries and bring a racial and ethnic diversity to us that has so much potential for the actual classroom environments that you're going to help us create. You're scholars, you're athletes, you're artists, you're musicians, leaders, and you are students committed to doing service to others. The majors, the minors, the career goals that you all have and are considering excite us and spark our imagination for how you're going to challenge us over the next 4 years. So that's another thing for us to celebrate. The 425 of you that are here today considering John Carroll are just the tip of the iceberg of what will become our class of 2017. Today you'll be able to interact with us, learn from us as we learn from you, and I'm excited to have you all here for that today. If our president were here, I'm also confident he would celebrate one other thing, the celebration of having the world's first Jesuit pope. Yeah. The excitement that has led across John Carroll and the other 27 Jesuit colleges and universities in the US and among the Jesuits around the world is really an exciting and contagious time for us. Over the years ahead, the world is going to be able to see and learn more about what it means to have a pope that is truly committed to living out the Jesuit vision and having a deep and inspiring commitment to social justice and service to others. But more specifically for all of you, let me just simply say that there's no better time to be considering attending a Jesuit university. We do things and see things a little differently here. In choosing John Carroll, it is not going to be enough for you to focus on what you want to learn, but you must be open to learning differently, widely, and learning about those that are different than you. Regardless of the career or major you might currently be thinking about, you will be required to navigate an increasingly complex world, and you cannot survive by just being trained on one set of skills or competencies. You must have depth in the fields that you are passionate about, but also the breadth of knowledge across many fields to be able to react and respond to changes as you progress through your career. The former U.S. Secretary of Education, Richard Riley, stated once, "Colleges must prepare students for jobs that don't exist yet, using technologies that haven't been invented, in order to solve problems that we don't even know are problems yet." And no one does that better than the Jesuits. The Jesuit order began in the midst of the Renaissance in Europe. St. Ignatius of Loyola, the founder of the Jesuits, himself was born in 1491, just a year before Columbus sailed west. It was at a time when the first printing presses took hold throughout Europe, art and music exploded, and a true hunger and access to knowledge surrounded that time like no other period before it. But while benefiting and living in such an amazing time, the early Jesuits also realized and saw quite clearly that there were many that were marginalized and left behind from all of those advantages. So it's no accident that the Jesuit order in its early founding became so linked with education and universities throughout Europe and that commitment to service to others. John Carroll has the responsibility to honor that legacy in what we do. It's a legacy of academic excellence, and it will constantly remind you and provide you opportunities to see that in your time here, your talents, your degree, your education are for you, but more importantly, also for others. By working very closely with our faculty and staff, by doing internships, research, traveling on service and immersion trips, connecting with our alumni around the world who will help you further in your career, you'll see that being a student at John Carroll is not just about selecting a major and checking off boxes for core requirements. It's about reflecting on what to do with that major, who it can serve, and how you can make a difference in the region and in the world. Our mission at John Carroll is to help each of you find that intersection of learning, leadership, and service to others that will found and create the foundation for your life. Many of you, in what we celebrate today, have already begun to show those qualities of learning and potential. Your service to your high schools, to your communities, and what we hope to instill in you over the next 4 years is really what I celebrate while we stand here today. Our offer of admission to you that came for some of you many months ago is a testament to our belief that you can come here, succeed, and add to this great legacy of John Carroll and to Jesuit education. You will keep us moving forward to places we cannot yet even imagine. But easier for me to continue to talk about it, I want you to see it firsthand. And that is where our two keynote speakers of today offer two great examples of what we hope you accomplish in your time with us and beyond. So I'll turn over the program back to Liliana so she can introduce our two keynote student and alumni speakers to you. Thank you for being with us today, and I look forward to meeting you through the course of the day today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brian. Imagine yourself 4 years from now as you prepare to graduate from college. Our next speaker doesn't have to imagine it. She's going to experience it in 44 days. From now, at John Carroll's commencement ceremony, she has great things to tell you about after she graduates. I'm pleased to introduce Lauren Gunderman from the class of 2013 to offer a reflection on her college journey, what her 4 years at John Carroll meant to her, and about her personal and professional development. Lauren majored in biology and has been heavily involved in service here at John Carroll, taken on numerous leadership positions, and even studied abroad. She's a great example of someone who has taken advantage of the many opportunities at John Carroll. She has grown intellectually, socially, and spiritually. Please welcome Lauren Gunderman.
Hello, everyone. As you've just learned, my name is Lauren, and I'm a senior here at John Carroll. I'm going to share with you a little of my John Carroll experience so you can see how Carroll has shaped me these last 4 years. I was born and raised in southern Ohio in a small farming community called Hillsboro, which is 4 hours south. I'm the third of 6 kids, 3 girls, 3 boys, in that order, the second of which to come to John Carroll. But besides having my older sister here and my grandpa back in 1950, coming to John Carroll wasn't the obvious choice for me. I went to a public high school and lived in the country my entire life. And being Catholic in Hillsboro, I was in the minority. So why did I choose Carroll? First, I knew I wanted to go to a Jesuit school. I actually only applied to Jesuit schools. And then I wanted to branch out and go a good distance away from home. Also, I was accepted into the Rupe Scholars Program, which is a scholarship for advocacy and social justice, and I fell in love with the campus. I like the small campus, it's beautiful, the church is right on campus, and the Science Center is gorgeous, which is where I spend the majority of my time. For me, the transition from high school to college didn't involve roommate issues, the workload, or the freshman 15, which is hard to gain because the gym is so close. But it was about learning to balance and coming from a public school to a private school. I was used to being busy all the time, but now my grades were much more important. And I could now talk about religion in class. There's a chapel right on campus, and I saw how open our church really is. I've had people from so many different religions in class with me, and we can openly discuss our viewpoints. And that to me is a really eye-opening thing. Sophomore year is a neat year because you're finally comfortable at your school and have found a pretty solid group of friends. You're ready to get involved. I became a resident assistant my sophomore year, which not only introduced me to a lot of people, but was also a really good challenge. I was in charge of sophomores as a sophomore, and struggling to gain the confidence needed to lead those who are my age or older. Yet it was a great opportunity to become part of a group and find my own niche. I met even more people through John Carroll's annual involvement fair. Not only is there a lot of free food and gift card giveaways, but you can sign up for anything. I took advantage of it, signing up for Christian life communities, the pre-health club, intramural sports, and choir. But there's really anything you want to do there: band, frisbee football, cultural organizations, political clubs, student union, whatever. And from this, you might learn what I learned, what it meant to be over-involved. But that's what college is all about, learning how to balance and trying new things before you get out into the real world. I think John Carroll really helped me with this. So now in the story, I'm a sophomore. Some of you will be going to John Carroll's Career Center for help finding an internship. Others of you will be searching for a job in your now declared field to build up experience. All of these are super important, but my life took a little bit of a different spin. I was stuck between two majors, environmental science and straight biology. When this happens, you really have to discern and figure out where you'll be best. To help me decide, I used my spring break by going to Costa Rica on a research trip sponsored by the John Carroll Biology Program. This goal was to piece together my passions, traveling and science, and see if I came out wanting to be an environmental science major. I even applied to summer internships where I'd be doing environmental research in areas across the United States. Yet part of taking risks is they sometimes turn into learning experiences. I left Costa Rica with love for the country, but knowing that research wasn't for me. I needed people, and I can't really talk to plants. But I still had a strong need to travel, and soon. So the summer after my sophomore year consisted of spending 5 weeks in Italy studying abroad through John Carroll's Bishop Pillow program, getting core credits, embracing my faith in Rome, and getting to take another step towards independence. I can honestly say it was one of the best decisions I've ever made. And it's also affordable and through John Carroll, so I didn't have to transfer credits, which is something to keep in mind. So now you're halfway through college, and you're either off campus or you're living in Burnett, John Carroll's upperclassmen suite-style dorm. I returned to campus as an RA and luckily got a great floor. I became close with my girls, and it really brought up my confidence level and my leadership skills. Yet junior year is a large step towards real life for everyone at John Carroll. Whether you're in the business department and getting an accounting internship, pursuing research with professors, or deciding your future, graduation starts to not seem all that far away. My big decision was medical school. I had shadowed and volunteered at Cleveland Clinic, but now I had to decide if I was ready to embrace the MCAT. After a lot of tears and calls home to mom, yes, mothers, you'll still be needed a lot, I discovered that my passion lay in service to others, and that my love for the way the human body works, I'm a nerd, led to the path of a physician. Studying for a major test with the stress of it being able to decide your future, trying to stay involved in school, being a good RA, and keeping up with classwork made it my most difficult semester. Yet it was also the semester when I most valued the close connections I've made while at John Carroll. My friends were very supportive, others studying for the MCAT were encouraging, and the closeness of the chapel was a real blessing and made my faith even stronger. So despite this big stress bubble I was in, I applied for and received an internship the summer after junior year through John Carroll's Center for Service and Social Action. I spent 8 weeks in Lebanon, Virginia, a small coal mining town in Appalachia, volunteering at a small health clinic and at a drug-assisted rehabilitation clinic. Those 8 weeks changed my life. I began to care for people I'd just met. I felt like I was truly giving back to the community, and from shadowing a family doctor, I knew what I wanted to do with the rest of my life. It was a crazy and exhilarating summer, full of new things and change, and as I came back to John Carroll in the fall, I was ready for whatever was going to come next. And now it's senior year, and from volunteering with refugees, something I've really grown passionate about, to planning my base senior project, where we brought children of the refugees to campus for Little Sibs weekend, I felt like I haven't given in fully to senioritis. But the big senior question that we all either hate or are tired of answering is a lot like the ones you're all probably getting right now. What's next? Where will you be next year? What do you want to be? And I can say I now have an answer, as do many of my classmates, some who are pursuing MBAs at John Carroll, getting a job in Chicago from internship connections, or attending law school. As for me, I'm very excited to be moving to Dayton, Ohio next year to go to Boonshoff School of Medicine at Wright State University. Yet as excited as I am to have a change and to begin focusing on my future at Wright State, John Carroll will always be my alma mater. It is here where I learn to lead, to embrace others' differences, to embrace my faith, and to recognize and fight injustices. I hope that you all will have a completely different experience of your own the next 4 years at John Carroll, the same rewarding and exciting finish. Thank you.
We thank Lauren. Lauren is a great student, and we're very proud of her success. We wish her the best of luck at medical school. Now that you've heard from Brian a little bit about yourselves, to prepare to start college and what you can bring to John Carroll, and from Lauren as she's knocking on graduation's door after a tremendous 4 years, we now turn our attention to an alumnus who has used his JCU education to make a difference in the lives of so many young people. Brian Sinchak, class of 2001, currently serves as the president of John F. Kennedy Catholic School in Warren, Ohio. JFK includes a lower campus, pre-kindergarten through 6th grade, and an upper campus, 7th through 12th grade. He is rarely seen in his office because he does everything from fundraising to teaching classes to mentoring students. After earning his master's degree also at JCU, he took a position at St. Peter Chanel High School in Bedford, Ohio, teaching theology to sophomores and juniors, and then moved on to become the youngest vice principal in the diocese at the age of 26. He then accepted an offer at Benedictine High School. Quickly moving up the ladder, after just 2 years, he moved to Poland, Ohio to be closer to family and to become the new principal of John F. Kennedy High School, and has since become the school's president. Ladies and gentlemen, Brian Sinchak.
Good morning. Before I begin my comments this morning, let's give another round of applause to Lauren. What an extraordinary young woman. I'm so proud of you. Fantastic. Good morning, class of 2017, and more importantly, good morning to the future Carroll alumni. I would also like to extend a warm welcome to the parents joining us this morning. Welcome to our John Carroll University family. I'd also like to take a moment to thank both Brian and Joel for inviting me here this morning to be part of this wonderful celebration. It is truly an honor to be here this morning to welcome you to my second home, a place where I discovered myself and learned about my place in the world and was challenged to take on that world. When I graduated, I left a piece of my heart here at Carroll. And returning to campus, even some 10 years after my graduation, it feels like I'm returning home. I can't go very far on campus without seeing a familiar face, and in many ways, it's like that old TV show Cheers. It's a place where everyone knows your name and is always glad that you came. John Carroll University is simply exceptional. When I was a high school senior, I was blessed and lucky to have opportunities to study at some of our country's finest institutions. And still to this day, I am proud to have chosen John Carroll University. It was an honor to study here for 4 years during my undergraduate education, and then to continue my graduate studies here at the university, as I worked as a university administrator and an adjunct professor in the Department of Religious Studies. And the best part of my time at Carroll, no doubt, was that I had the opportunity to meet my beautiful wife, Mandy, who also graduated with me in 2001 and 2003, and she's joining me here this morning. Mandy and I also have the wonderful blessing in our lives to have a beautiful 6-year-old son, Nathan, who even this morning on our drive to campus, we were talking about. Nathan will be in John Carroll University's graduating class of 2029. And we started that indoctrination pretty early. One of his very first bibs when we brought him home from the hospital had a Future Blue Streaks bib that we purchased at the bookstore. Truly a remarkable young guy, and we're just so lucky to be part of this John Carroll family. We want to continue that and hopefully be legacy parents someday. Honestly, my time at Carroll was simply extraordinary. I lived in wonderful residence hall communities and then became a resident assistant myself, where I learned important leadership lessons. I watched my now wife perform as captain of the dance team, and I cheered with my classmates at football games and basketball games. I attended lectures with some of the world's best scholars and authors in Koulos Auditorium. I volunteered at local inner-city schools and learned the value of serving others. I prayed in St. Francis Chapel and I traveled the globe while working with the poor and those affected with leprosy in Ecuador. I also had the great opportunity to explore the great city of Cleveland, attending Indians games as well as Broadway musicals at Playhouse Square. I studied art history in a course here at Carroll when we actually traveled to the Cleveland Museum of Art for our class. And I enjoyed the delicious food in Little Italy. In many ways, Cleveland was as much my classroom as the traditional classrooms are here at the university. I also developed close mentorship relationships with my professors and university administrators, who I am now proud to call my friends. Many of them even danced at my wedding. Carroll is truly a family, and the education I received here formed me into a man for others, committed to serving others with the gifts and skills God has blessed me with. My Carroll education also taught me the lesson of not only being the best in the world, but being the best for the world. In my graduate studies here at Carroll, I had opportunities to travel around the world, helping to plan international conferences with the Cardinal Sunan Center based here at the university. I became a frequent flyer, having traveled to Belgium, Israel, Paris, Thailand, and Italy about 5 different times. John Carroll not only taught me about the world, but literally took me around the world. And many of my friends also had the advantage of extraordinary study abroad opportunities here at the university. Carroll truly is a world-class university. Today, I am proud to be one of the youngest lay people to ever be appointed president of a Catholic regional school system in the state of Ohio. As you heard just earlier, I'm the proud president of John F. Kennedy Catholic School in the Diocese of Youngstown. And in my office, I proudly hang both my undergraduate and my graduate diplomas from this extraordinary school. And I regularly bring my junior and senior students to Carroll to give them a personal tour, introducing them to all of the influential people and places that played an important part in my development. That, my friends, is really the Carroll difference. The people here are completely committed to helping you develop into the best you there is, a man or woman of deep faith, committed to success and to serving others. When I count my blessings, I count Carroll among them, for I attribute my professional success, my family happiness, and my strengthened relationship with God to the formation and education that I received while a student here. And now, even some 10 years after graduation, Carroll remains an important part of my life. I am passionate about this school and its ability to transform lives. As you stand at the beginning of your college journey this morning, I pray that you will find your home here and have a similar extraordinary experience. An experience that will not only educate your mind, but also touch your heart and leave you with amazing memories of your time at Carroll. And when I am sitting where you're sitting as Nathan's father in 2029, I hope that you are the invited alumni speaker giving this presentation a couple years from now. Thank you for welcoming me this morning. I wish you the best of luck in the remainder of your senior year and your beginning of your journey here at Carroll. God bless you and your families, and go Blue Streaks. Thank you.
Brian, thank you so much for being here and also for bringing your wife. Your passion for John Carroll is truly contagious. For now, enjoy your day on campus, and thank you to our speakers, and thank you to all for joining us for the Class of 2017 celebration.